It sounds very sad. You were at Clapham High School, I think, where a teacher died today. What happened?
It was a sad day indeed, Francis, when a parent will go to school to be a teacher and have to be taken out of the school premises in that kind of a situation. It's sad. We had a session with teachers just to counsel and debrief them. We also had a session with learners just to brief them so that they can understand the situation. We had to release them early purely because the teachers were not ready to go back to the classroom. We briefed the family of the deceased and we'll continue to give them the support that they need.
All right, a sad day for that school. Now, the online registrations affecting everybody who has children of that age in this province, around 80,000 since last recorded. How does that compare to last year when there were a lot more problems than we're seeing today?
No, Francis, we've improved it drastically, actually. Just moments ago, before we went live on 85,000 people registered. Our target is to reach 100,000 by end of business today. It's quite clear that we'll reach that number. There are 320,000 spaces available at grade 1 and grade 8, so we're still urging parents to register. We are quite sure that when parents knock off from work, they'll also rush to register their learners. But I want to thank the more than 100,000 parents that attempted to register, to say thank you for listening to our advice and also to ensuring that we can get our learners registered. Education main cost driver is learner numbers. So if we can't get learner numbers right, we'll never get education right. So we know now how many educators we need to employ, how many textbooks we need to buy, how many more classes we need to build, and in which areas that we need to build those classes. So the online registration, it's a tool that assists us in planning, and it's also a tool that makes things easier for parents. They don't have to wake up early in the morning to queue or submit forms, and they are told the forms are lost. If you register now, you've registered forever. So we'll have your details, and you can edit it and amend it as you wish anytime you want to do that.
And it's only online, is it? Because there are concerns about the exclusion for the poor if they can't get to a computer.
Well, it's not only online. We've opened what we call 65 walk-in centers. This morning, myself and the Premier were at the walk-in centers. This is for people that don't have access to the internet or they don't have access to a computer. So they just walk in there. We've got 18 workstations where people can just be assisted and be taken through. And we're also working together with counsellors to say, if you know somebody like a grandmother who can't even leave the house but is staying with a child that needs to be registered, our letters will do what we call door-to-door walk-ins or door-to-door registration so that parents can be registered. But there's no use for somebody to say, I don't have an access to the internet or computer, therefore I can't register. Just go to the walk-in centers. There are more than 65 across the province, or alert your local councillor will alert us and we'll be in a position to come in and register you at the pleasure of your house.
All right, good. Last year, some problems, the system placing English pupils apparently in Afrikaans schools or placing learners very far from home, besides the technical problems. Are all those things now dealt with?
Yeah, all those things, Francis, are now history. That is why one is so excited that we've managed to reach almost 85,000, more than 85,000 applications. It means that we've modernized the system, improved it, and ensured that it can respond to the needs of our people. What is very, very important is for us to ensure that every person that wants to register their children, they can register them. And for us to have reached 85,000 by now, it's indeed exciting.
Panyaza, remind us, this was about making things more equitable. So last year a change, and I understand you can only apply for a school within the radius of your home. So the idea was that the good schools wouldn't be flooded with applications, and some schools left without resources and things like that. The good schools tempted perhaps to let the rich students in. Is that what it's all about, and is it working, your approach to address that?
This system is transformative. It gives everyone an equal chance. It is also allow equity, so that there's no one that can be told the schools are full before others can apply. So you can apply the same time, and it allows us to account, to say, this person has applied, where are they, where's their application? So we really believe it's transformative, it's in its own nature and character, purely because you can, even if you are far away from that school, as long as you want that school, you can apply for that school, and we can check availability. If space is available, we'll be in a position to place you at that school. If space is not available, we'll place you at the school where there is space. So we're quite excited that it has allowed us to transform and radically change the look and feel of our education system in our province.
And are you not worried about any other distortions? I know the kind of people who will move to an area to get to a school. Gauteng has people flooding in, immigrants. Won't this kind of create distortions around where they choose to live, things like that?
You are so right, Francis, indeed, and that is why we went to the Constitutional Court to allow us to broaden our boundaries. So we're waiting for Constitutional Court to concur with our advice, and if they agree to what we have submitted to them, by end of September, then people will know that you can apply wherever you want to apply. But your concerns are correct. There are many South Africans, especially here in Gauteng, that says even if I stay in this area, I can afford to take my child in that particular area, so therefore I must not be restricted on the basis of the 5-kilometer radius rule. So I must be allowed to go there. And the online registration offers that. It will choose one school for you, but you have a choice as well to choose a school either where your sibling is or where you prefer to take your child to. So it's only until the end of September that we'll know whether you have succeeded or not.
Okay, so you don't want to be restricted only to radius. And just talking about the inequality, I'm trying to understand this issue because there has been such inequality and along racial lines, along economic lines. But would you allow schools to not pick maybe very promising students if they are good schools? Some people think that in South Africa we're becoming afraid of any form of excellence and maybe even allowing state schools to compete with private schools rather than letting that gap perhaps even widen.
That's the reason of the online registration, so that people must not cherry pick because it's invisible. You don't see any person that is coming in or who has registered. Because previously, people will give you a form that says how much do you earn, where do you stay, the kind of the house you stay in, and they will cherry pick. So if you are unemployed, you will not be admitted in that school. Or if they feel that are not academically or not strong, will not be admitted. But with the online registration, that is gone. We just need the details of the parents, the details of the learner, and the parents will then select the school. So it's transformation in nature, and it allows us to remove all those barriers that made people not to enter our schooling environment. So I really believe that it's the best system. It will allow us to, as I said, transform our landscape, our schooling landscape, and also allow ordinary South Africans to get access to quality schools. Francis, you are correct when you say there are some people that believe that South Africa is not, or we are not making education something that can assist people to be excellent or in their work, or to absorb quality within the public education system. But we are competing with the private education system. Is growing, it's big, we must accept, but we're giving them a run for their money. For the mere fact that over 85,000 parents have chosen a public education system in our province, it's an affirmation that our public education system is still strong.
Panyaza, we're running out of time. What if people miss this process? What if you move into the province later on? What if you forget to place your child in a school? What happens?
That is why we are saying apply now before midnight, the 12th of June. Whether you are outside Gauteng or not, you are outside the country, can still apply. So do it now. Because this will allow us to place learners as early as possible. But if you are late, unfortunately, it's your constitutional right to be placed in a school, but we will place you at a school that is not your favorite. That's the only bad news that we'll get, because if you register late, it means only where there's an open space will be in a position to place your child there. But if you apply now, you'll be in a position to choose the best school for your child and be placed there.
And finally, MEC, if this works well, you're saying it's going very well today, are you getting inquiries from other provinces? What is the idea? Because I think this is something unique to Gauteng now. Do you expect it to spread? Are you speaking to other Gauteng officials?
Indeed, we are speaking to other provinces. This system is owned by government, so I can just put it in a disk and give it to any MEC or any province that wants to use it. It will cost them nothing. We knew we were guinea pigs, so that's why we invested a lot of money to save other provinces from going through the same problem. So at any time when they want it, we can give it to any province.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi for us from Pretoria.